Alright guys, today we're going to talk about large and small percents. Up to this point, y'all have taken stuff like 20% or 30% and you've made it into a fraction. Remember, you took this portion, 20, and you put it over 100 and then you reduced. But today we're going to take stuff like 133% and we're going to make it into a mixed number. Or we're going to take stuff like 1/3% and we're going to make it into a fraction. Or we're going to take stuff like 0.03 and we're going to make it into a fraction. Okay? So you've got three things you're going to be able to do by the end of the class today. You're going to be able to make a big number over 100 into a percent, mixed number, or a real small one into a fraction. So let's try this first one. This first one says 1/2%. First thing you got to do is drop the percent and put the 1/2 over what? 100. Because y'all remember when we took 20%, we wanted to make it into a fraction. What did we do? We put 20 over 100, didn't we? And then we reduced to 1/5. Well, here we got the same thing, kind of. Okay, so let's look at it. We got 1/2 over 100. Now, what's 100 understood to be over?
1.
Over 1. So now, what is this whole thing called? A what?
A large.
Starts with a C, 2 words, CF. Compound fraction. It's a fraction inside a fraction. So we use this, LCF. What's that mean? No, F doesn't mean opposite. Lead, change, flip. So we're going to leave the top one the same. We're going to leave it 1/2. We're going to change the divide into a what? Multiply, and we're going to flip 100 over 1 and make it what? 1 over 100. Now we just multiply. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 100 is 200. So what is 1/2% as a fraction? 1 over 200. Okay, so let's let you try one. Stop it, Chris. So now it says express 0.03% as a what? Decimal. What if I told you to make 20% as a decimal? What would you tell me to do?
Move the 2 places to the left.
Good, Chris. Move the decimal 2 places to the left, and so what would it equal? 0.2, 0.20, 0.2, same thing. Okay? Now, we want to do the same thing here. We want to make 0.03% as a decimal. So what am I going to do with the decimal? Move it 2 places to the left. You got to go. If you went left here, you got to go left here, don't you? So you got to fill these 2 with zeros. So what's your answer going to be? No, 0.0003. Okay, so 0.03% as a decimal is 0.0003. Here it says make 1/7% into a what?
Fraction.
Or what? Fraction or mixed number. So we're going to take 1/7 and what do we say? Put it over what?
100.
Over 100. Now 100 is understood to be over what? 1. Okay? So now that leaves me leave this alone, change divide to a multiply, and flip 100 over 1 and make it 1 over 100. Now when we multiply it out, we do 1 times 1 equals 1. And 7 times 100 equals 700. So what's my answer as a fraction? 1 over 700. Chris. Alright, so here we started with a fraction and we ended with a fraction. On this one, if we wanted to make this into if we wanted to convert it, it starts as a decimal, so we would convert it to a decimal. Now, the last problem that you hadn't seen is like if they gave us 126%, 126%. We would take 126 and divide it by 100, wouldn't we? Just like here we divide by 100, just like here we divide by 100. The only difference is here you start with a fraction, end with a fraction, right? Here you start with a decimal, end with a decimal, right? Now here you're going to start with a big percent and end with a mixed number. Okay? Alright, so here what do we have? A what?
Decimal.
A decimal. So we're going to eliminate the percent. We're going to put the decimal over what? 100. Okay? Now are we done?
No.
No, we're not. Okay? Now here it told us to make it a what?
Fraction.
Fraction. So even though we started with a decimal, we're going to end with a what?
Fraction.
A fraction. Now, can we leave 0.07 in a fraction like this? No, it's got to be a whole number like 2 over 10 or 3 over 100. Okay? So, what can we multiply the top by to make it a whole number? 100. If we multiply the top by 100, it moves the decimal 2 places to the right. But now we got to multiply the bottom by 102. So what's it going to equal? 7 over what?
100.
No. What's 100 times 100?
100,000.
900,000. Look, put a 1, and then how many zeros are there? 2, 4. So just put 4 zeros. So it's 7 over 10,000. 0.07% is the same as 7 over 10,000. Okay? So let's try another one. What about this one? Is this a fraction? So what will we end with? So let's put 4 over 5, and what are we going to put it all over?
100.
100 over what?
1.
So now what do we have to do? Leave,
Change.
change, and flip. So we're going to leave 4/5. We're going to change the divide to a,
Multiply by.
and we're going to flip 100 over 1 and make it 1 over 100. So now we got to multiply. 4 times 1 equals
4.
5 times 100 equals.
500.
Now we got to simplify. Let's divide the top by 4. What do you get? What's 4 divided by 4?
16.
What's 4 divided by 4? What's 500 divided by 4?
125.
Good. So your reduced fraction in simplest form, because that's what it says right here, in simplest form is 1 over 125. Alright, so here we got a decimal, but here it tells us to make it a what? Fraction. So we got 0.2 over what?
100.
Now can I leave it 0.2?
No.
What do I have to make it? I got to move the decimal 1 to the right, so what do I multiply by? 10. No, you only move it 1 this time, Jeremy. If you multiply it by 100, you'd move it 2. You see what I mean? So we want to move it 1, so we multiply the top and bottom by 10, and that's going to equal 2 over what, Jeremy?
12, 10.
No.
100.
What's 100 times 10?
100. 1,000.
1,000. Now we got to reduce. Divide the top by 2, and that equals 1. Divide the bottom by 2, and that's 500. So 0.2% is what as a fraction?
1 over 500.
1 over 500. Now here we got a big number, don't we? We don't have a decimal, we got a big number, so what do we put it over?
100.
Yeah, so we take 148, just like the others, and we put it over 100, don't we? Now, what is this going to wind up being? It's a big number, so it'll wind up being a what? Mixed number. Okay? So now we got to say, how many times will 100 go into 148? How many times will it go in? 1 time, leaving 100. What's our remainder? 48. 148 minus 100 is 48. So that leaves you 1 and 48 over 100. Now, can we leave it like that? We have to reduce this, don't we? So let's divide this by 4. What's 48 divided by 4?
12.
And what's 100 divided by 4?
25.
We're still not done reducing, are we? Yeah, we are. So what's our answer going to be? 1 and 12 over 25. So we just made 148% into a what? Jeremy, into a what? A mixed number. No, not some. No. Here it says express each percent as a decimal. Jeremy Honor, how do I make 111% as a decimal? 2 places, right?
Yes.
So what is it as a decimal?
1.111.
Good. What is this going to be as a decimal? Two places to the left, so what's it going to be?
0.00001.
Good. What about this?
0.0009.
0.0009. Very good. What's 7 over 10? Put it in your calculator. 0.7%, right? Right, Wade? 7 divided by 10, what is that?
0.7.
So I just converted it to 0.7%, right? So how do I make 0.7% into a decimal? 1, 2, so it's 0.007%. I mean, not percent. I just made it a decimal, so the percent goes away. My mistake. Okay, so let's look at these. Kiera, what's 392% as a decimal? Very good. Moved it 2 places to the left. Jeremy Young, what's this as a decimal? 16.673. Excellent. Raven, what's this as a decimal?
0.3075.
Good. 0.3075. Now, Jeremy Young, what is this? What's 1 over 5 the same as?
I think I would do.
0.2. So now, Jeremy Young, or Honor, make this into a decimal. What do I do?
Hold to the left and down.
Good. So what's it equal?
1,400.
No. 1 point.
400.
Yeah. Just say it like this, Jeremy. 1.402.
1.42.
Good.